Hello students, this is Poonam teacher teaching you Heredity and Evolution from Science 2. In my last video, I have taught you transcription, translation and translocation. Now let's move towards evolution. So what do you understand by evolution? Evolution is a slow and step-by-step process which results into the development of a living organism over a long period of time. It takes generations to bring about particular changes into their physical characteristics, which results into a formation of a better individual. It is said that many years ago, about 3.5 billion years ago, when life did not exist on the earth, there was a simple element which was found into the ocean. We all know that elements are the pure and the basic substances which cannot be divided further by chemical means. Then this elements resulted into formation of simple organic and inorganic compounds after a long period of time. The same simple organic and inorganic compound resulted into formation of complex inorganic and organic compounds such as proteins and nucleic acid. After many years, the same proteins and nucleic acid might have resulted into formation of cells. The same cells have been multiplied under suitable condition and might have grown. Some of the cells which have not adjusted into the surrounding, they might have perished. Today we can see so many organisms, right from unicellular amoeba paramecium to multicellular banyan tree and we the human organisms and so on. So there are certain theory of evolution and which says that progressive development of plants and animals from the ancestors having different structural and functional organization is called as evolution. So whatever progressive development or step-by-step and better development will be brought about into plants and animals from their ancestors, and which will be resulting into a formation of a better individual, a better organisms, will be known as evolution. The same thing have happened with us, the human beings. We have originated ourselves from the ape to Homo sapiens, what we are today. Now there are certain evidences of the evolution that we shall see. You can see these pictures of a dog, a sheep. Now the nostrils of these animals is somewhat similar. That means it gives us a morphological evidence. Morphology means the external form of any organism. The same thing happens with the plants. You can see the leaves of the plants. They have certain similarity into their leaf venation. Leaf venation means the veins of the leaf. There are veins and then there is lamina. Lamina means the flat surface of the leaf. Then there are leaf petiole, the stalk of the leaf. There is certain similarity which suggests us and which gives us the proof that there can be a common ancestry. That means organisms have been evolved from a common ancestor. Now let's move towards the anatomical evidence. Anatomical evidence means internal structure. Anatomy means internal structure. So you can see human hand, cat's foreleg, patagium of bat, flipper of whale. There is no doubt that the function of all these organs is quite similar. That means it is used for locomotion. But are they looking very alike? No, these are not looking, but the structure of the bone is very much similar, which is an anatomical evidence and which again suggests that there can be a common ancestry. Let's move towards vestigial organs. Vestigial organs, that means the organs which are not useful for the organism. They can be useful in certain condition or can be harmful also. Let's take for an example appendix, which is not useful into the human beings. It may cause appendicitis, which is the inflammation of the appendix. The appendix may get swollen in certain condition and it may get burst. The infection may take place. So many a times people, you might have heard that people undergoes the operation of appendix, that is known as appendectomy. in which the appendix is removed because it has been infected by the stool or some bacteria. So appendix is useless organ into the human beings. You might have studied digestive system into previous classes, but have you ever studied that the use of appendix? What is the use of appendix? You might have studied the use of small intestine, you might have studied the use of large intestine, but you might have not studied the use of appendix because it is a vestigial organ. But it was useful into our ancestors because our ancestors used to eat raw food, and it was very useful for the digestion of that raw food. But we do not eat raw food, we do not eat raw meat, we eat the cooked food, which is easy for digestion. So appendix was useful for those ancestors because they used to eat the raw food, and it is also useful for some of the ruminants. Ruminants means like cows and buffaloes, which swallows their grass, hay, and when they they relaxes and they brings it out, then they keeps it on chewing. So this kind of appendix is useful for them, but not for the human beings. So appendix is truly a vestigial organ. After that, ear pinna. So this ear muscles. These muscles are not useful for the human beings, but these are useful for the monkeys. Then we have the wisdom tooth. Wisdom tooth also have no use because we do not use our wisdom tooth for chewing the food. We use this kind of teeth for chewing the food. So wisdom tooth is of no use, but it is still present into our mouth, and it is also a vestigial organ. Then the tailbone or the coccyx. This tailbone or the coccyx was useful for the monkey-like animals, but it is not useful at all useful for us. So these are the vestigial organs. Then why these all vestigial organs are still present into us? Because we might be having some common ancestry with all those animals. Then let's study about the paleontological evidence. Now this paleontological evidence, paleontology means the study of fossils. Fossils are the dead remains of plants and animals. Now these plants and animals might have died due to the natural disasters like flood, earthquake, volcanoes, tsunamis, and their dead bodies had been buried into the soil. So when we study the dead remains of all these plants and animals, when we study the fossils of all these plants and animals, we comes to know that there is quite similarity in all these animals, in all these organisms, which again suggests that there can be some common ancestry. That means we have been evolved from a single organisms, and then gradually the development took place, and then differences took place, and then evolution was brought about, and then the biodiversity took place. Now let's study carbon dating method. In this method, the use of C14 isotope of carbon will take place. I hope you know the meaning of isotope. Isotope is the atom of the same element with same atomic number but different atomic mass number. We all know that the atomic number of carbon is 6 and the mass number is 12, but its isotope will have mass number 14. And this carbon 14 is formed when cosmic rays into the atmosphere comes in contact with nitrogen, resulting into formation of carbon 14. This carbon 14 is intaken by plants by the process of photosynthesis, and then the animals will eat the plants. The same carbon 14 will be there into the bodies of the animals also. Whenever that animal will die, carbon consumption of the animals and the plants will stop, but C14 will keep on decaying continuously as it is radioactive. Radioactive elements, the atom of the radioactive elements, it keeps on disintegrating spontaneously. So carbon 14 will keep on decaying spontaneously. When we will calculate the ratio between carbon 14 and carbon 12, we'll come to know the age of that organisms, will come to know the age of that fossils, and on this basis we will come to know the real age of that organisms, and which will prove that there can be a common ancestry, and it seems that vertebrates have been slowly originated from the invertebrates. Now you can see here the structure of the ground level and fossils. The fossils which are present at the bottom, you can see the starfish and this mollusk. That means this came first on the earth, then came this fishes, then came other kind of reptiles, then came the snakes and the dinosaurs, and then came these aves birds, then these rabbit mammals and all. Now let's study the connecting links. Connecting links means the connection, a common connection between various types of plants and animals, and that connection will be on the basis of their morphological characters, their external characters. Now you can see this duckbill platypus. This is an animal which will lay the eggs like the reptiles, but as it has a pair of mammary gland, it will nurture its young one by its own milk. The female duckbill platypus will nurture the young one by its own milk as it has a pair of mammary gland, just as into the case of mammals. But the mammals gives direct birth, but it is such an animal, it lays the eggs. So it has a connecting link between the reptiles and the mammals. Then this is a lungfish. Lungfish performs respiration with lungs irrespective of being a fish. That means fishes uses gills to respire, but lungfish uses lungs. This example indicate that mammals are evolved from reptiles and amphibians from fishes. Then here is peripatus. The peripatus will have a segmented body and parapodia. Parapodia means the leg-like organ with which it will perform the locomotion. So in peripatus, characters like segmented body, thin cuticle and parapodia-like organs are present. And these animals will show tracheal respiration and open circulatory system like the arthropods. We know that Cockroach is an arthropod. It has an open circulatory system, and it will respire. And this kind of animal will have a tracheal respiration, but will have a open blood circulatory system as compared to, similar to that of the arthropods. So the peripatus is a connecting link between Annelida. Annelida will have a segmented body, just like the earthworm. Earthworm is an annelida. It has a segmented body. So in the same way, peripatus also have a segmented body, and it also shows open circulatory system like that of the arthropoda. So that is why this peripatus is a connecting link between annelida and arthropoda. Then here is the embryological evidences. You can see the embryos of all these animals. This is a fish, salamander, tortoise, chicken, pig, cow, rabbit, man, and you can see the first stage. The first stage is the first embryological stage of all these organisms is so similar, you can see, and then gradually it is changing to fish, salamander, tortoise, but the first embryological stage is similar, that you cannot make any kind of difference. You cannot find the difference easily. So this also shows that there can be a common ancestry.